evening. It's a paralyzingly hot day in August of 1967. And I just returned from New York City, from Detroit, where I'd done a gig with my partner in a comedy group called the Times Square Two. And I now had 3 fresh $100 bills in my pocket, which we were going to go for the rent. So I arrived on 11th Street in the East Village, which is where I lived. Nowadays, the East Village has been gentrified and it's a desired place to live. But in 1967, it was anything but. The people who lived there were descendants from the old Jewish garment workers. There are lots of working class Ukrainians, Poles, Germans, lots of Puerto Ricans, artists, hippies, and junkies. I made my way to the building, which, like many of the other buildings on 11th Street, was in dire need of repairs. The mailboxes had all been rifled. The bulbs in the lamps on the landings had all been smashed, but still it was whole. And sweaty and tired though I was, I put my guitar in my left hand, my carry-all in my right, and I started up the first flight of stairs. I just reached the landing when I saw on the stairs ahead of me a man bending over, tying up his shoelace. Well, I'd lived in the East Village long enough to be a little suspicious of somebody tying up their shoelace in the middle of a flight of stairs. So I waited until he'd had time to tie up about 10 pairs of shoelaces. And then I said, "Oh, excuse me," and I started up the stairs. At which point, he whirled around with a knife at my throat and said, "Dame dinero, give me your money!" Or words to that effect. When someone's holding a knife at your throat, you don't remember exactly what they say, nor what they look like, but I just noticed that the knife was big. I stumbled back down the stairs against the wall, and then I fled out into the backyard, and I picked up a couple of bricks to defend myself. And I waited. And I waited. And he didn't come out, and it dawned on me, of course, I dropped my guitar and he'd gone off with it. And that was the end of it. That was devastating. That money that was going to go to the rent was now going to have to buy a new guitar. I went back upstairs, took a shower. The water was working. And then getting more and angrier all the time, I went back downstairs and I walked towards Avenue B, which was the center of life in the East Village. It was now around 5 in the afternoon, and the place was crowded with people coming home from work, and kids, and cars, and trucks, and buses, and I was just ready to take on the whole Lower East Side at this point. And I saw a cop car coming towards me, and I stopped them, and I said to the 2 fat old white cops sitting there, "I'd just been robbed." And the guy said, "Can you describe it?" I said, "I think it was Puerto Rican." "Oh, that really helps." And he had a red shirt on. "Get in the back." So I got in the back and we drove up and down the avenues and across some of the walk streets. I didn't see him. And after about 15 minutes, they let me out just where I got in. No sooner had the cop car disappeared when I looked across the street and there was a man in a red shirt. It was that same red shirt that that guy was wearing, I swear it. And he was singing. He was standing in the doorway of 2 shops, singing loudly. It was him. I didn't give a damn anymore, and I ran across the road, dodging between the trucks and the buses. And when I came up to him, I said, "You stole my guitar, man!" He looked at me with these junky eyes, and he pulled out this knife. He said, "Take it out!" I said, "You stole my guitar! I need my guitar! I cut you, man! I cut you! I need it! It's my living!" And "Your living?" I said, "Yes, that's how I make my living." "Oh, mierda. I no take if it's your living." I don't know if that was the first time that a junkie had ever apologized for stealing something, but it was the first time in my experience. I said, "Well, can I get it back?" And he thinks for a moment, he goes, "Yeah, we got it." And he wades off into the crowd walking down Avenue B. And I run alongside him. Now I can really study him for the first time. We're about the same height. He's a little stockier than I am. We both have long black hair. His is curlier than mine. He has a darker complexion than I do. He's unshaven. He has a big, thick moustache. And as I said, he has this red shirt on, which had seen better days, and pants which were like 2 sizes too big. But it was his eyes that I noticed the most. The pupils were swimming around in the sockets as if they would spill out onto his cheeks at any second. When we got to 7th Street, he makes a left, walks up to a building, goes up a couple of flights of stairs, and knocks on the door. A moment or so later, the door opens, and a little bearded hippie sticks his head out, says, "Hey, Angel." I said, "The guitar is his." "Oh, figures. You got the 25? "I got it." "Okay." And he disappears. And I'm thinking, Angel, that's his name? Huh? Well, he stole my guitar, but he gave it back. But he still needs to do something else to justify having a name like Angel. At that moment, the hippie comes back and passes my guitar out to me. And I said, "And the case?" "Oh, yeah. And he goes behind the door and he gives me the case. And as I put the guitar into the case, I see Angel giving him 2 10s and a 5. I had just finished fastening the last clasp on the case when Angel grabs the guitar. He says, "Give me 25, I'll give you guitar." Now, I didn't want to tell him that I had 3 $100 bills in my pocket. So I said, "I don't have it with me," and you can see him go for the knife. But I know where I can get it. "Hey, all right, yeah, now we'll go together." He said, "You fuck me, man, I kill you." I said, "No, I won't, I swear, let's go." So we go back downstairs and we start walking to Knight Street between 1st and 2nd, which is where my partner lived. And it's very crowded and people pushing and everything. And after about 50 yards, Angel, who's holding my guitar, says, "Why you not fixed?" I said, "Fix? What are you talking about?" And he rattles the handle of the case. He said, "It's good guitar?" I said, "Yeah." "It's break, bang!" I said, No, man, don't do that." The truth of the matter was that the handle had come a little bit loose, and I just hadn't got around to fixing it. And he said, points to the side of the guitar case and says, "Why not put name? You have name, I no take." I thought, yeah, right. But I didn't say that. I said, "Oh, that's a good idea." He said, "I show you." He takes off his belt, he wraps it around the guitar, slips it through the buckle, and holds the guitar like this. "Hey, see?" And he begins walking down the street, holding my guitar like this. Well, the fact that he'd taken the belt out of his pants means that his pants were now falling down. So he had to hold them up like this while he's trying to hold onto the guitar. And I'm terrified that he's going to drop the guitar, and I try and hold it, and just from the look of his face, I know, don't touch it. But even he gets bored with that after a moment. And he says, "You play for guitar for a living?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Play for me." "What, now?" "Play for me." Okay. So I take my guitar out of the case. Now the Times Square 2, the group I was with, based all of their music and material in the 1920s. We sang songs like "Ain't She Sweet," where my partner played the chords and I strummed, and then we switched around, and then we did a little dance and sang while we were doing it. It was very cute and brilliant too. Or we sang songs like "I Know Where the Flies Go in the Wintertime," or an old folk song that we could make fun of. But I was not about to walk through the East Village singing, "Oh, no, John, no, John, no, John, no." I don't remember which song I sang, but it was very difficult to play and sing in this crowd of people. And after a minute or so, Angel turns to me and says, "You play, I sing." Well, I was no Jimi Hendrix, and I'm not good at accompanying people. And I was not ready for the song that he launched into. First of all, it was in Spanish. He sang very loudly. I had no idea what the key were, let alone the chords. But he didn't notice for the first moment or two he was having this operatic orgasm singing. But after I played one chord that was not right, too many, he turned around and now he grabbed the guitar and said, You don't play for a living, you motherfucker. At this moment, I look over his shoulder and I see a cop car coming towards us. Now, I have no idea if it's the same car or not. But at this point, I feel I'm going to get my guitar back somehow. And I don't want to turn him in. Besides, he now knows where I live. All in that same second, I realize we're standing outside an ice cream store. I don't know what got into me, but I said, "Hey, Angel, you want an ice cream?" And I don't know how I did it, but somehow I grabbed him and the guitar and pushed us all into this ice cream store, which was full of people happily licking their cones. Angel goes, "I don't want no fucking ice cream." Everybody stops mid-lick. I can see him going for his knife again, and through the front window I see the cop car go past. And I went, "Oh man, I forgot, I don't have any money on me. Come on, let's go, we'll go right now, come on." And I walk out of the store, Angel right behind me. The next couple of minutes is a very distrustful silence, broken only by Angel rattling the handle of the guitar case to make sure I don't try anything else. But I'm not even concerned about that. I'm thinking, I pray to God my partner is in, because if he isn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. We make it to 9th Street. I go in through the outside door, Angel right on my shoulder. And I press the buttons on the intercom. And when my partner answers, I say, "Send down $25 and don't ask any questions." And then we go back outside. And I look up at his 5th-story window and wait for some kind of sign. And after eternity, the window opens and a hand comes out holding something. And he lets it go, and it's a piece of string with something attached to the bottom of it. And I see it, 4th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor. I lunge up and get it, and it's a piece of newspaper. And I tear it open, and inside there are 2 $10 bills and a 5. And I give them to Angel, and he gives me my guitar. I turned round to thank him, and he'd already disappeared. But that next week, I fixed the handle on my guitar case. I wrote my name along the side. And after that, no one ever tried to steal my guitar again. And I have my Angel to thank for that.